Hello! Welcome to the 2.5 Brains weekly Survivor recap. We're talking about the latest episode, double episode, so there's all kinds of craziness happening. We're going to have to talk all about it here. And before we get started, let's go ahead and give out the information. Feel free to tweet Yo Grabba Gabba. Also, email pavementroadproductions@gmail.com, facebook.com/pavementroadproductions. Leave a comment, like our page. Subscribe, of course, to our channel so you get all the updates and you can leave all the comments you need. And like I said, I think that's pretty much it. Feel free to comment on this video, share the video, post it on your personal pages, and give us some feedback. Obviously, let's go ahead and get started here with this week's episode. And before I do, let's go ahead and bring in our co-host, Ms. Jessica Tarasik. Come on in. Cool. So, hi, welcome. So, obviously, we are talking about this week's episode, double episode. So, when it's a double episode, we have to kind of change it up a little bit because we're not going to do two full post whatever. But we are going to do is talk about the 4 big moments of the episode as a whole, the 2 hours, the 4 key moments of the episode as a whole, and then at the end of it, when it's all said and done, who's the top 3 and bottom 3. So before we get started, go ahead and give me your Twitter handle. How can people tweet you and contact you?
Just T820.
Perfect. So as we started here, let's go ahead and dive into this week's 4 big moments, and we'll start with the first one, which is Edge of Extinction Island shenanigans.
Reem's a crazy person.
Reem is kind of losing it a little bit, I think. Yeah, for sure. So, tell me all about that. The shenanigans that went on there. What do you think?
Don't ever accuse her of giving up an advantage, even though she clearly pointed to it and said, "Oh look," instead of going to grab it before saying anything. But that's okay.
So obviously a lot of craziness happened in that episode. More so than anything, though, even I want to talk about the advantages, right? I mean,
how something actually is going on in Extinction Island?
Right, it's actually being used for something important, right? I mean, they found the first episode, you can call it. They found it was an extra. First of all, there's Chris found something to practice the challenge. For when they do return.
Right, yeah.
And then it was, I think, was it Devon's? Yeah. Because they found a map and found what they had to find. Devon's found an actual vote. He had to will somebody in mystery, in secret.
Right.
And he willed it to Aubrey, and we'll talk about that a little later. But interesting that they actually used Edge of Extinction Island for something. And then the second time they went through, and the moment that was talked about with Reem was when she found and again, Devons was looking for it and didn't find it, but it was Reem who found it, and then Keith ended up scooping it up and taking it. They
couldn't figure out what the map was for the second half of it.
Right. Yeah. So they ended up giving it to Keith. Ended up finding it, and it would end up being a extra, like an advantage for him or a disadvantage for another player.
Yeah.
To help slow him down in the challenge. I guess they're going to have to get back in the game. There's going to be a challenge, which I guess makes sense. Kind of same idea as Redemption Island. But what did you think of all the shenanigans? Anything else that you wanted to point out that was... I mean, I guess at least they actually used it, right? At least there's something useful to the game.
Yeah, well, they're finally not just sitting there wondering what's going on in Extinction Island. They actually have a point to the show now that they showed, but... I mean, like they showed next week is when they're going to be bringing them back. So now we get to see what that whole thing was about and what they're going to do going forward.
Do you think they're going to have Edge of Extinction after the merge?
I would think so. Otherwise, what's the point of having it on the show? Ghost Island ran for pretty much the whole show until the end. Yeah. So I would assume.
No, I agree. I think probably too. They'll probably do something where they'll bring it back at the finale or something. But now that people know that it's a thing, maybe not. It reminded me a lot of the Outcast twist, though. It did remind me a lot of the Outcast twist. So who knows? It's interesting to find out what's going to happen. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess again the magic's kind of the luster's kind of worn off if they know what's going on already with the edge of extinction. So
that's true.
We'll see. I bet you they still use it though.
Yeah, maybe they'll do something else.
Next, number 2, returnee is eliminated.
Poor Aubrey.
Yes. And I did say last week I thought that Leslie was going to win an immunity challenge. They sure did.
You did. Should have bet on that one.
Right. They finally pulled it off, and Leslie won, and Aubrey was eliminated. And tell me about that. Tell me about the first of the season, first returnee going out, and it's Aubrey. Didn't see that coming.
No, she didn't see that coming. Nobody saw that coming.
No, nobody did.
No, it was a good blindside.
Yes, blindside.
I don't know. Sure, whatever.
With that happening, they definitely pulled the wool over her.
They planned it together to have Victoria go up to her and say, let's do a girls' vote and try and get out one of the guys. And she totally ate into that and believed her. And, but as soon as Aubrey asked Wendy, what she wants to do, Kelly or Wendy, why? Wendy just says, oh. She says nothing. So then Aubrey doesn't want to work with her anymore. So I felt that kind of turn what the vote was going to be, but, didn't see really Aubrey going, I guess, right away.
No, I didn't either. And I said, obviously, it switched from being, it looked like it could have been either unanimous for Wendy or unanimous for Aubrey. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
And it just, I maybe harken back to season 6 with the swing vote strategy when they, the guys, 3 guys were trying to get Christy to vote with them, and the 2 girls were trying to get Christy to vote with them, and Christy's like, I don't know what I want to do, blah, 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 waffling back and forth. She's like, maybe I'll go with you. She kept telling both sides that she wasn't sure, and then both sides got together and said, let's just vote her out and make it easy. And that's what they did. And that's kind of what I thought was going to happen to Wendy, honestly, because she just couldn't make up her mind. Yeah. Wendy, yes, let's do that. The answer is yes. The answer is always yes.
Nope.
Yes, it is.
Nope.
All right, Muppet. The answer is always yes.
Nope.
So I think that's the right idea. But either way, first attorney goes out. Would not have guessed it was an Aubrey. I would have said Wentworth, and then I said maybe David. I would have said then maybe even Joe.
Well, it could have been either Wentworth or David. They actually won an immunity challenge.
They sure did. That's crazy, right?
Shocking.
It's just one of those things where they're bound to win one, I guess, and they got the job done.
Yeah, I guess.
Moving on to the third big moment of the whole 2 hours, and I just wrote down here that War Dog is the new Rodney. Boston Rod is taking the form of War Dog, and the reason I say that is because big, jacked, muscly monster who sucks at challenges. Just sucks.
Can't do a damn thing.
Can't do anything.
Can't even throw high enough at the target. Not even close. Not even a little bit.
And I feel like it's kind of one of those things where muscles, maybe they're for show, maybe they actually are legitimate, but the fact is when you're not getting protein like that, you're not eating enough protein to keep your muscles going, they're just going to wear out. And you're better off being a.
He didn't want to get protein anyways. He didn't want to go, look, he's tired, he wants to save his calories. Well, you're just sitting there wasting away instead of feeding your body that you needed some kind of food to eat.
Absolutely.
So
I don't know. I just don't know what they're thinking, but he's just to me he reminds me a lot of Rodney. Like Rodney was like all big and jacked and whatever, but when you're not getting when you're not feeding those muscles protein and you're just the first thing to go are your muscles. I mean, the first thing to get you weak are your muscles.
To be fair, though, the tribe has not won. It's not just because of
absolutely.
this. I mean, they won one. So I don't think he was good to begin with at challenges
either.
Absolutely. Now you're really seeing his struggles.
No, I agree. I mean, I think we see all things. If you need him to lift something, he can probably lift something. But that's about it. And that challenge too, when
but he can't hold David.
Well, that's what I was about to say. That challenge, and it reminded me a lot of the Aubrey's first season when her and Julia Sokolowski picked the teams, and Julia picked 2 big and 2 small, and Aubrey picked 4 of the same size people, and nobody was strong enough to lift up the other people, and they're all, it didn't work out, and Aubrey's team literally fell on their face multiple times.
Yeah.
Where Julia's was easy, they made it across, and they won the challenge with no sweat. So that made me think of that a lot too, but they just didn't have, War Dog is just, he's got a bunch of show muscles, the muscles for show, they actually have any use, and especially being, malnourished and everything, they're very useless, right. And just like him, so... and nothing against War Dog, and thank you for your service, War Dog, but damn, dude, you're not good as Survivor.
Right.
I mean, and that being said, he's thinking, he's always plotting. He seems like he's pretty strategic for a big guy. Usually the big guys are just like, we're going challenges, freaking ogres.
Yeah, but he's not really good socially either.
No.
Because he doesn't hear anybody else out. I don't care if you don't want to listen to what they want to do or even follow what they want to do, but at least actually do listen to what they say and make them feel like you're listening and doing what they want. Because that's how you win everybody over.
Right, and he's just steamrolling.
He's putting a target on him right now.
Absolutely.
Every time.
Absolutely. He's just steamrolling. He's just going through, all right, that's what we're doing, get out of my way. Mm-hmm. And that is actually one thing I will say that he differs from Rodney. Rodney had a good social game. Rodney was a villain on the show, and some people didn't like him at certain times, but also he was funny, he made jokes and things like that too. So Rodney wasn't just a meathead, he did have some social chops as well, I would say. Yeah. And War Dog just kind of like, just this is what we're doing, I don't care what you have to say.
It's good for War Dog. Whatever's good for War Dog, that's what he says pretty much every week.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And then finally, the last one I want to talk about here is the double tribal. So big moment number 4 was the double tribal, and I just, as soon as Jeff said, only one team's winning immunity, I knew they weren't going to vote out 3 people in one episode. It was going to be a double boot, but they were only going to get rid of, so I knew that they were going to go there and vote one person.
Did you though? I kind of mentioned it, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that was good though. I mean that I was thinking about it, but you definitely brought it up, and it was a good idea. Mm-hmm. And it was very call.
I have to take my credit where I can. Look smart.
No, for sure. It was good. It was a good call. It was in the back of my mind, but it was definitely a good call by you for pointing it out. And
because they're gonna bring someone back, so they got to get rid of 2 people in 1 week.
Yeah,
because you said they usually don't do it before the merge, a double boot.
Correct. They usually don't. I mean, unless it's right before the merge. In this case, like it is. But the double boot was the first time they did it. And here's the thing, right? It's one of the most controversial things that Survivor's ever done. And they did it for the first time in season 34, 2 tribes voting out 1 person, and everybody hated it. And the reason everybody hated it was because Malcolm got voted out. And everybody hated it. And I understand. I said it was a good move. I thought it was a good twist. But I thought, people are going to hate it because Malcolm got voted out. And sure enough, they did. Mm-hmm. I think it's a good thing to do. I think it's cool to try it. I think it's one of the things where if you do it a couple times a season even, that'd be really neat. Like I said, I'd be fine with them just doing randomly drawing tribes every episode, and then, and going from there. But the fact of the matter is, I think it worked out fine this week. Mm-hmm. The same thing they got, and David. I think David started talking this time. He got up and said, "Hey, let me talk to you," and they got up and went over there and started talking, and then they were, going back and forth, and then and.
Eric went and talked to War Dog and David, and then all the girls went on to the other side, and Wendy just sat there in the middle.
Right, Wendy just smiling. She has no clue what's going on, because guess what? She doesn't. She was just sitting there like, oh. Sunshine and rainbows.
Shiny.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. I'm glad she's out of the game, and if she comes back in, I'm gonna eat my hat. I'll
take a video.
I will get Francesca Hoji's rock from her second season, and where she said, if I vote out first again, I'm going to eat this rock. And then she got voted first again, I'm going to get that rock, I'm going to eat that rock. If she wins her way back in, I'm going to be really upset. But she brings nothing to the game. She's just, a time bomb. Mm-hmm. And the thing that was smart, the thing I liked, it was an opportunity for the Lesu group, to get rid of somebody from the other side, right? Mm-hmm. Aubrey went out, whatever, but it was a chance for them to get rid of somebody from the other side. Instead, they targeted one of the original members, which was Wendy.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. You kind of knew that was going to happen, though. I never thought they would draw rocks for anybody, because why bother doing that and risking it? I mean, everybody knew Wendy was a safe vote, but you had to bluff. Safe vote. I can't speak. But they had to bluff.
They had to. And, David's gone rocks before, and the person he was aligned with, I guess, it didn't exactly work out the way he wanted it to. But at the end of the day, he got the numbers outside and it was fine. I don't know. I don't know if people on both sides saying they weren't willing to go to rocks for Laura was saying she wasn't willing to go to rocks for War Dog, right. And Victoria wasn't willing to go to rocks for anybody. So I think it was a good move, though. I do. I think, Lesu could have said, hey, let's just get rid of one of their people. Let's knock out Eric or Victoria or whoever. But at the end of the day, if he goes to rocks, it's not really worth it. So you might as well just get rid of Wendy. And they're not. They sussed out that the other tribe's not gonna go to rocks for Wendy.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Right.
And I think that was a smart move.
Right.
Because I mean, this person's. She's Eric was saying she's kind of crazy. I don't trust her. She's like a ticking time bomb, or alarm clock that's gonna go off when you don't know what's gonna go off.
Yeah.
Why go to rocks for somebody like that who could flip back tomorrow?
Right.
You can't trust her. Don't put your game in the line to protect her. It's not worth it. So it was interesting that they did that, and I think it was a good move by the lesser group to target Wendy. Yep. Let's go ahead now and shift gears to the 4 key moments of the whole episode. And what was the first one?
Threat level Joe.
Threat level Joe. What's that all about?
Well, Joe's just putting a bigger target on his back. I mean, you can't help it if you're that good at winning community, winning challenges. He's just the best, and everybody sees it. But the interesting thing was he's trying to spread out his threat level to the rest of his tribe, saying how if we keep winning, it's not just me, it's everybody. I don't really believe that, though, because everybody knows it's Joe. They don't believe it's anybody else on the tribe. Joe's never sat out a challenge. So if he did, maybe they'd lose one. Maybe he should sit out a challenge. If he sits out and they win it, I mean, then that shows that you were not the only big threat. But now we will never see that. So now it's just going to be going forward, seeing who else is going to show themselves.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, too, is they have had it, in the past where, with Ko-Rong, the beauty tribe didn't lose a challenge. I mean, they lost the person due to medical evacuation, but they went into the merge with all the people there. And, and it happens with, that happened with Tandang and Philippines. Like, the tribes who are intact fully get targeted. Like, remember Ben's season. Mm-hmm. Healers, Hustlers. The healers were all intact. The only one they lost was Rourke. Mm-hmm. And there's 5 against everybody else, and that 5 got picked off.
Yeah.
Why? Because nobody wanted to work with those 5. Yeah. Because they were still intact. And they were the threats.
Right.
So you got rid of them. I think that could happen this time, too.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, though, it sucks to be him. He's so good looking and good at everything and
he's
talented.
A pirate.
He's so, oh God, it sucks. Life is so difficult for him.
Hook.
I can't imagine how I can't imagine how tough his life is being so good at everything. God, was basically what he was saying, which is just stupid. But anyways, I think that he's definitely a threat. He's definitely a huge threat. Always is a huge threat. Mm-hmm. He's trying to say, look, we're all threats. I'm not just the only threat, but I just don't see him. I see him being. He's probably gonna win a couple of immunities because that's what Joe does, but he won't win his way out. Eventually, we'll lose, and they'll just vote him out, and that's same old Joe. But
all right, moving on. Lesu is dysfunctional because they cannot work together for anything. They're lucky they even won a challenge this week. I mean, they're so quick to turn on each other. Everybody's blaming David. I don't know. I mean, I sat here yelling at the TV, and he can tell you that. I couldn't stand how they keep saying, well, David's a problem. Well, if you didn't hold him up so you can't get the stuff down, how are you supposed to win a challenge? It wasn't his fault that you guys lost. It was everybody together as a group because you all equally are not working well together.
Absolutely. And the problem I'm having here with them is, they were dysfunctional. They had, War Dog supposed to be this muscly dude who can't do anything.
Yeah.
David is not good at challenges. We know that.
Yeah.
Lauren,
he's good at the puzzles, though, so get him with the puzzles,
right,
and he'll be fine.
And that's why they won, right? Because he did the puzzle well.
Yeah.
Lauren, is athletic, but she's tired and worn out, and Wentworth is so in challenges. Nothing fantastic.
Wentworth, to me, hasn't stood out once at the challenge because she hasn't really stepped up to try and win it. So if you want to sit back and complain you're losing, then try and step up and show that you can do it.
Yeah, and
that drives me nuts.
For sure, and she's never been in the hero position, or so it's hard to say. It's strategic. Obviously, you don't want to be the one who costs your tribe, but also sometimes they need somebody to step up and get the job done.
Yeah.
And I feel like the reason they've been losing is that I just feel like it's a, I don't know, whatever I'll call it, a unspoken tension between David and Wentworth.
Yeah.
I just think that's what I think.
Yeah.
I think that they're like, I don't really like her. She doesn't really like him, and so they're kind of going back and forth, and I feel like they don't, instead of hashing it out and just like being like, look, we gotta work together because we're a tribe, even though we may have differences. I feel like they just kind of keep sweeping it on the rug, and then David's not confident, in himself ever, but in the challenge he's not confident. Wentworth can't do what she wants to do, and they're just both kind of like trying not to kill each other, but they need to work together instead of trying to kill each other. Yeah. I think that's part of it. Yeah. Cool. What's the third key moment of the episode?
Kelly finds an idol because War Dog is apparently blind.
I mean, they're both, War Dog went out looking for it first, and they're all like, where's War Dog? He's probably looking for the idol, so they all went to look with him, and they, come looking for the idol and whatever, and then they're looking around, and...
I mean, you look right at him, and you see it in the tree right behind him, and how did he not see it? I don't understand.
I mean, at first glance, I didn't see it either, but because it's the same color as the tree, but...
It was not. It was like turquoise. I saw it right away.
Yeah, I mean, it's, if the leaves are the right color, it could kind of be the same, but... I agree though. I mean, he definitely missed it, and Wentworth found it, and I think it's her third idol she's found in Survivor. So it's big. Now her and Lauren both have idols, and they could be both, in good shape going forward. But it was interesting that, Wentworth finds the idol, and that's, could have been a big thing, because they were like, look, we're going to this combined tribal. It's good to have some idols on our side. It's good to have some ammunition. Just like when Ty had the first combined tribal, he gave to Sierra, and they saved Sierra, and then the votes bounced back into Malcolm. So it was a good idea. Yeah. Right. Anything else?
No. Right. See what she does with the idol going forward. For sure. She's going to need it.
I agree.
And number 4 is unanimous revote. Yeah, everybody kind of saw that coming with Wendy.
Yeah, I mean, they've gone to 3 times in Survivor history they've gone to rocks. Season 4, season 27, and season 33 they've gone to rocks. The question is, were they willing to go to rocks this time? And I believe, had the right person been targeted, maybe they go to rocks.
If they didn't have one that was more of an obvious choice. She was an obvious choice. Everybody knew when it got down to the end of it, everybody's gonna vote out Wendy. That's just how it was gonna be. She can't work with anybody else. She was playing her own game, which everybody could see. She was playing some game. I don't know what game, but
I don't know. I'd say. Sometimes the analogy is, she's playing checkers when they're playing chess. I think she's playing tic-tac-toe when they're playing chess.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah. Even just not even games like that. She's playing Uno and they're playing chess.
Right. So, I don't know. I think there's definitely some interesting stuff going on here with this, but the bottom line is, I don't believe that those players were willing to give up their games for Wendy.
No.
You can't trust her. Who knows what she's going to do. Don't give up your game for Wendy. That's just dumb.
Right.
So, let's move on now to the top 3, bottom 3 of the week. Moving on to the bottom 3. Person number 1 is who?
Not surprisingly, War Dog.
War Dog. Yeah. Why War Dog here?
Like we said before, he can't throw. He's not good at challenges. He's shown he's the godfather, and now he's putting a target on his back because he's not even trying to work with everybody. He's just saying exactly what he wants, what's good for his game, what's going to happen. And of course they're going to follow because otherwise, they don't want to get on his bad side. But it's going to be really interesting when they all this merge. Everybody's going to be individual immunity, and who knows what's going to happen with him.
Yeah, and I feel like, Joe can win the individual challenges because he's got the body type to do so. But it's a lot of times it's not,
It's more so, who are they going to keep him?
Well, sure.
How much further is he going to get? Because everybody's going to get sick of that.
And my point is, too, that War Dog's not going to... War Dog doesn't have the body to win these individual challenges, especially the early ones.
Right.
Like it's a lot of endurance, it's a lot of balance, a lot, having big muscles doesn't do anything for you in these individual challenges. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, look at anybody who's gone on a big, huge immunity run. It's lean, it's lean people with average body sizes, who aren't gonna, the big jack dudes aren't the ones who aren't the ones who go on the immunity runs. I mean, Chrissy went on an immunity run, right? I mean, she's not a big jack dude, So it's interesting. I think it's gonna be we'll see what happens here with War Dog going forward. I could see him being. I mean, it's going to depend on which group work together. If the old, the groups who, if Les Sue is left on their own, and it's just the 4 of them left, and everybody else targets them, I see them go after War Dog first, right? Just because he's the overt threat.
Yes.
But then again, they target Wentworth because she's a threat, or David because he's a threat. But
I
don't know.
She's going to get further just because of him, honestly. Now.
Say that again.
Because of War Dog. I think Wentworth might get a little bit further because of him. I don't think she's going to win it, but I think she will get further because War Dog is so much more boisterous, Loudest is always noticed first.
Agreed, and I think that's why he's going to put a target on his back in that regard, for sure. I don't know. I mean, I don't know who's going to win this. I still don't see any of the last two members winning it.
No.
But I also don't see Joe winning it, so I guess it means a new players winning it, which would be interesting. So.
All right. Moving
on.
Joe.
Joe's bottom person number 2. I also said something else, but bottom person number 2. Why is he bottom person number 2?
I mean, for the obvious reasons we said before, he's, perfect in every way and winning every challenge, and
that sucks.
Everybody just notices him. So, big target. He's obviously not going to make it super far. It just depends on how long they decide to keep him. But, it's really hard to be good at everything and be noticed that much.
I've always said the best person in Survivor is the one who's not the most of anything. Not the biggest, not the most physical, not the most overtly strategic, not the most overtly social. Like, for example, Angelina was very social, quote unquote, last season, but she blew up her game because she was overtly social. She was trying to be social, trying to be nice and friendly, and it was fake.
Yeah.
Right? Look at other seasons where the big, strong guy isn't often going to win because they're going to get rid of him. Because why wouldn't you? Right. He's right there. He's an easy target. Or the person who just looks like a strategic person, a person who has that look to them. Get rid of them. Why? Because they look strategic. They look like they're going to make moves. They look like you can't trust them.
Right.
And that's, I think, where we are with Joe. Mm-hmm. I think Joe maybe he hasn't really shown a great strategic ability, but he's definitely a nice guy. He's definitely good in challenges. So he's just he talked about how it's tough being so good at everything. That's not what he said, but that's how it came across. It's like, to me, it's like, that's just the way it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Joe, I mean, maybe somehow he finds a way and they put a season together for him designed to win, but I just don't see a player like Joe winning. I don't see a player like Ozzy winning. I see a player like Malcolm winning. I said, when I first talked about this, Ozzy. In the order of who can win the game, it's Ozzy, and then it's Joe, and then it's Malcolm. Malcolm is strategic. Malcolm has all those abilities, and he's overtly all those things, but Malcolm knows to pull back a little bit here and there, whereas Joe just doesn't. Joe, he can't not win a challenge. If Joe was smart, what would Joe do?
Lose a challenge.
He'd start just sucking, right.
It's kind of too late now for the tribe, but
Certainly.
When you're on your own, individual immunity, it's better to start looking like you're not doing well. Nobody's going to believe him at this point. It's kind of too late.
It's too late. And the thing is, he was in a tough spot, too, because if he would have gone out and started throwing challenges early, his tribe's going to get rid of him because he's a returning player, and they were targeting him already. So his only chance to stay in the game early was to win.
Yeah.
But now it's like, all right, now same old Joe. And it's too late for him. So, that being said, I think he is, I remember Tyson, his third time out, was, the first few times he was known as the challenge side. He did well in challenges. He was a cyclist. He's in great shape. He's physically, all those things. And what happened to him his third season was he hurt his shoulder in a challenge, and his arm was in a sling for like 3 or 4 episodes, and he couldn't do much, and he sucked in the challenges, and nobody voted him out because he's like, well, this guy's having good challenges. He's hurt. Why we can't? He's not a big physical threat because he's hurt. And then by the time he got to the end of the challenge, he was good enough to beat the couple people left, and he got himself the end, and the rest is history. But Joe could have honestly, not to say that, but Joe could have used something like where he hurt himself, or he, popped his shoulder out like Stephanie LaGrossa and popped it back in. But just like he could have used something that he just like, hey guys, I'm not feeling well. I feel sick, and I can't compete too much this week.
Right.
And then it's one of those things where it's temporary, where it's going to go away, maybe, but then he also can get out of everybody's spotlight. He's just been the spotlight's been burning him for his entire career on Survivor. He's playing 30, 31, and now, and it's just been he's been just getting burned by the spotlight time after time after time.
Okay,
moving on.
David
Wright. Why is David Wright in the spot here?
He's not in any good spot.
He's not in a good spot. I mean, that's just the thing, right? I mean, no matter where the votes go. That being said, now if they are merging, maybe he's okay.
Got a better chance to make alliances with other people. Everybody knows, though. I mean, Wendy told her tribe before she got eliminated that he's kind of a swing with anybody. He's open to talk to anybody.
Right, and that was big for that tribe because obviously they got to pump Wendy for information and all that. But I just don't. I mean, if I don't think he's number one with Wentworth. He's definitely not number one with War Dog or Lauren. He's not number one with anybody on the other tribe. So he's kind of like, he could be a free agent, somebody could just pick up, and that could get him to go further. But it's going to be harder for him to win now. And again, maybe he will. Anything can happen. He gets the end, he's got a good shot. But I just don't see him making it. I don't think he has the bonds with anybody to get far enough in the game where it's going to make a difference.
Well, he's got to start all over again unless Devins makes it back in.
Which would be huge. That's what he's got to root for sure. That's his number one.
Right.
I mean, it's really the only thing that David can root for at this point, which is a good point. If Rick gets back in the game, they were close. That'd be number one. And then
because Devins, I think, is more social to talk to other people and bring people into their group.
Absolutely, and David's kind of more the strategic mastermind, where Devins is more the strategic or the social. Yeah. And I think right now that's what he needs. Because Wentworth has Lauren, and he needs Devins. Because then War Dog's kind of there too. It's 5 of them. We'll see what happens. But that being said, if 5 of them are there, it might make it easier for the other 7 to be like, look, let's take these 5 out because they're we have the numbers. If there's 4 of them in the game, they can become less strategic, less of a threat. I don't know. We'll see. But I think you're right. I think he needs Rick back in the game ASAP, and if not, he's in trouble. I think.
All right. Want to go on next?
Let's go to the top 3.
Julia.
Number 3, I put down Julia. Why Julia here though? Why did Julia?
Well, I mean, they won the last immunity challenge because her and Joe were working on the puzzle, got it quickly in the end. I think that she's been doing well just talking to people, keeping Joe thinking that they're okay, but obviously, nobody wants him around. Everybody wants to get rid of the returning players. And, I think she's strong for their challenges. I mean, she could be a threat. Who knows? She might be a threat, as Joe was telling her that she was a threat with him, but she could be. She doesn't seem like she's doing too bad. And
she's got the kind of triple threat thing. She got the strategic, the social, the physical. Isn't she the one who went through Joe's bag when they were? Was that when Ron was distracting him?
Yeah.
So she definitely she definitely knows some things. She definitely isn't a fool in this game.
Right.
And she's close with Ron. She's close with Julie. So I think she can definitely have. I think she's the only who has the bonds. The question is just gonna be where things gonna fall this merge. Right? If her side gets targeted because there's 5 of them left and they've never been to a tribal yet, maybe that's a bad thing for her. But in general, I don't think it's too big of a stretch to be like, well, I think she's got she's got the right bonds, she's got the right positioning to make a good run of the game. She's getting some confessionals. She's not lighting up the confessional scoreboard, but I think she's still got a good chance here.
Yeah.
Moving on to the top, number 2 person in the top 3. Who do we have there?
Your winner pick, Eric.
And Eric Eric Halfman at number 2. Why Eric? Obviously, I put him down there for a couple reasons. What do you have for Eric?
I mean, he's kind of helping to guide his tribe. I don't think he's being overtly controlling about anything. Everybody's throwing suggestions, but he's definitely got a handle on things, and he's also strong. So, I mean, he's a strong competitive person, so I think that really helps them. But I don't think he's doing poorly. They made it. They lost the final immunity, but it's not for lack of trying.
I agree. I think Eric's the reason I have him there too is just because of the fact that he's not overtly he's not a war dog where he's like, hey, this is what we're doing, blah blah blah. But he is. I would say he, with help, is the leader of the tribe.
Yeah.
And he's the one who's kind of like kind of making things happen in a certain way. And again, not like he's overtly being an idiot, but I think he's also kind of taking the reins a little bit and kind of making it his own, which is a big thing for him. And I think that could be I think I can see him having winner upside just for that reason, based on how things are going. But that being said, again, you never know. Mergers change things all the time, right? And they're like, well, let's get rid of the biggest threat on that tribe. They're probably not going to target Victoria because she just doesn't seem like a big threat. She's better than we thought she was.
Yeah.
But not. Eric's the one who you're probably looking at like, hey, let's take him out.
Yeah.
And Gavin's there too, and Gavin again could also be part of that same thing too. He could be like, hey, let's look at Gavin.
I mean, you really didn't get to know any of the other tribes because they weren't losing, so they weren't getting much time on camera because you're going to follow the ones that are going to tribal.
Very true.
And when they're not going to tribal, you don't know what's going on. They don't have to strategize yet.
Right, and this tribe finally lost a couple challenges, and they had to make some votes.
Mm-hmm.
And so far they made 2 easy votes: get rid of the returning player, the outlier, and get rid of the one who wasn't originally from your tribe. 2 easy votes, nothing really crazy, but I do think though that he's got tight bound with Gavin, and I think Victoria is right in that mix too. I think that's a solid 3.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and talk about the player of the week this week. And as you announced who it's going to be, I'm going to eat some crow. Victoria? Because, yes, I said Victoria sucked last week, and this week she's the player of the week.
Yeah.
So, I'm an idiot.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I am. It's okay. You can agree. It's fine. She maybe the 2 things. The hat is stupid. Get rid of the hat. It's freaking 100 freaking degrees out there. Use the hat. 2, when you're talking about somebody, make sure they're not standing right behind you.
Yeah, those were her 2 downfalls. But I mean, this week she got confessionals. You got to see where her mind is, and she lies to everybody that she will go to rocks, and then she goes to confessional. I will absolutely not draw rocks for anybody because it's not good for her. But she can, like most girls, they can lie to people's faces really easily, and everybody believes them.
Oh, good to know. But Victoria was great this week. There's no doubt about that. Eric was strategic, Gavin was strategic, and Victoria pulled it off. Mm-hmm. Victoria went to Aubrey like, hey, let's do all girls.
Right.
And convinced Aubrey. Aubrey was hook, line, and sinker.
That was Victoria and Eric working together to even start that plot.
For sure.
They were talking about what they could do, and Victoria, suggested to do that.
Absolutely. So I think she made Aubrey buy it. Aubrey bought it. Aubrey was, Aubrey didn't have the best reads this season. She definitely didn't.
No.
But that being said, Victoria still played it off, and the whole tribe, made Aubrey think it was Wendy. Mm-hmm. They were going all girls, and then Wendy's crazy, let's just go with Wendy, and that's what happened. It was good. So I think there's some good stuff going on here. I think it was a good move, and we'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, I think there's some good options for these players, and I think Victoria right now had the best week. She was the player of the week. Mm-hmm. And like you said, getting confessionals, talking about, I won't go to rocks. Big things, getting big key moments, and getting, and being a part of some moves and some good votes. So, again, she went from, bottom last week to top this week. We'll see if she could go back to the bottom next week for all we know. But overall, that group showed that they're, Aubrey said it, you guys are playing a damn good game. Gavin and Victoria and Eric, really made some big moves this weekend, and it was just nice to see that these players who hadn't needed to do much can do stuff, and that was I like that. So, other than that, here as we wrap up here, I just want to go ahead and talk quickly about the merge coming up. I know I didn't talk to you about this, or anything, but the merge coming up next week. What are your thoughts? What do you think about the merge? What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know. It'd be nice to see actually everybody. You don't see anybody because they're not losing. So we really know the Lezu tribe. We're going to get to know everybody else now. Yeah,
and it's good. It's good that we have these options to have more than just Lezu get voted out. I mean, it's been just that, and now we can look at, okay, well, what about who are these other people? Who are these other 5? These other 4? Then like I said, we got a little bit from the other group today, the 3 that are left. But for me, I'm always excited for Merge. Merge is always the best time of the season, and now people can really play and really make things happen. And I think there have been enough commingling and things like that it won't necessarily be a straight pagong. It should be a pretty interesting merge and post-merge game. And also, I think it's the dynamic of who's coming back from Edge of Extinction, if they are still going to do Edge of Extinction after, the merge. What does that mean? What does that look like? Definitely reminded me of the Outcast twist quite a bit when they come back. But do you have any prediction of who you think is going to come back? I know you said Rick would be good for David, but who do you think is actually the one coming back? Keep in mind, Keith said he's going to give this advantage to Chris.
I still think Chris can do it with their advantage because everybody else is not strong at anything. Keith is not. If they're swimming, forget it. Mm-hmm. Either way, if it's a strength thing, Keith, he's not that strong. So it's going to be a struggle for him. Reem, I think, is just going to get frustrated and give up. And it's going to be between Devins and Chris, and I still think Chris could probably pull it off with a challenge and add it into it.
Yeah. I mean, and you got Devins, you got...
And we know Wendy's not coming back.
Right. I mean, I would say right now, I mean, again, and I'll be shocked and whatever, but I would say the best chance right now is probably Chris. I can see Aubrey just because she's done enough challenges in her life, and maybe something.
True.
It's something with it's not gonna be a brute strength challenge.
Right.
It's gonna be something with finesse.
Strategic, yeah.
Yeah. And Devins, I could see him doing it. He wasn't great in the challenge, but he's a big enough character that I could see him coming back. And who knows? Maybe it's the new Reem. Who knows? But
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like
True.
I feel like it's gonna be one of those three, and it's probably in that order: Chris, Aubrey, and Devins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else for a wrap up for the night? You're all good.
No, I think we covered everything.
And then we got through it pretty quickly. I was double stuff episode. We didn't double stuff the vlogs. So I feel good about that. Other than that, here be sure to comment, right, and share this post. Subscribe. Go ahead and email us paperproduction@gmail.com. Tweet Jessica at
JessT820.
Tweet me at YoGrabbaGabba, and like our Facebook page, Paper Productions. And again, email paperproductions@gmail.com. For now, I think that's it. We'll be back next week for the merge. Excited to talk about that. Excited to talk about who actually does come back from EOEI.
EOI.
Edge of Extinction, whatever it is. Edge of Extinction Island. And for now, right now, I've got nothing else for you. Because the tribe has spoken.